Hello, this video clip is fairly short but also very important. What we're looking at here is a 5-minute chart of FTSE on the 14th of March 2008. I've drawn this red line in here, and this is what I call parity. That's the point at which FTSE is unchanged on the day. It's an important concept when trading binaries, especially when trading the news, which is what we're going to do in this example. Although I'm using a chart to illustrate this, you don't need charts for this technique. All you need to know is, well, two things really: when the news is coming out and whether or not FTSE is at or near parity. On the 14th of March we had some US data coming out. Normally this data comes out at 1:30, but because of daylight saving it's currently 12:30. Doesn't change very much, but obviously you need to know when it's coming out to place the trades. Now I'm just going to scroll forwards now on this chart. You'll notice that this is 12 o'clock, so it's getting pretty close to the news coming out. So I mean that's like 12 o'clock. So FTSE's point is just above parity, not by very much. That's 8 points above parity. That's irrelevant really. We'll have a quick look at the chart now of the bet itself. Okay, here's the bet itself. FTSE to keep in the range, plus 100 to minus 100. These are what I call tunnel bets. It's IG index chart. Now the tunnel bet is my favourite bet. You can get it totally wrong and still make money. And the point with the tunnel is that you're actually betting that FTSE will keep in the range plus 100 minus 100 from the prior close. That red line I drew on the chart. I invariably sell the tunnel. I'm looking to sell it at a high price. In this case, you'll see the price is around the 80 level, which is ideal. And I'm looking to see the tunnel go. I'm looking to see FTSE break outside the range, so that the tunnel will go to 0. So I sell at 80 with a view to closing at 0. That's a basic idea. I don't know whether it'll run all the way, but that's the basic plan. Now you don't need a chart for this. So there's one of the techniques which you will not need to use charts. All you need to see is firstly that FTSE is around parity. For that, any kind of service which provides you with the price will normally give you the change on the day. So that's one aspect. Parity is important. For example, if FTSE was 30 points up, the tunnel price may still be around the 80 level. It may be fine. But the problem is that the news may come out, and if FTSE goes down, say maybe 40 points, which it can be a significant move, the tunnel will then be much nearer parity, and you're liable to lose on your bet. So ideally, we want it to be at parity. There are personal variations here. You'll want to make this technique your own, as with everything I'm talking about, and you'll become an expert in operating this technique. I mean, of the techniques I'm outlining today, I think the loophole technique is a must. This is a great technique, very simple to operate. It doesn't take much time. And even on another system than the spread betting PDS system is perhaps the third one to go for. Anyway, going back to the chart. Right, so at this point, we've got FTSE around parity. I mean, okay, maybe it's 10 points ahead. That's no problem. 10 points here or there is not a problem. We're talking about around parity, not exactly at parity. We've got the tunnel price about the 80 level. You want to choose a tunnel which is around that price, really. I mean, in this case, in March 2008, we have volatile markets. The tunnel prices are lower than they would normally be in non-volatile markets. I mean, I used to trade the 50-50 tunnel a lot. The pizza trade was a 50-50 tunnel, but that bet is now too cheap to sell, and so we now look for the wider tunnels to give us the price we want. Anyway, let's see what happens. I'll now scroll forwards on this chart. It's a 5-minute chart of FTSE, and we'll see what happens as the news comes out, which should be quite soon now. So you see it going down a bit. So this point here is just before 12:30, and in fact, at this point, FTSE is almost bang on parity. It's like 5 points away, very very close. So we had that little blip there. Again, we'll look at the bet price in a minute. Okay, the news comes out. We shoot up. Right now, at that point, as we'll see on the chart, the tunnel will have, I think, well, there'll be a significant price change in the tunnel, and at that point I took profits. In fact, you sell something at 80 and it goes. Well, let's have a look at the bet quickly. Okay, we're back on the bet now. So what happens to the bet price? We sold at 80. I think it was 79.6 or something, that sort of thing. And within a few minutes, 20 minutes, it's gone down to the 40, around the 40 level. So, that's a pretty good profit in 10, 20 minutes. And there's a lot to be said for taking that kind of profit. You can go in larger size if you're happy to just do a quick trade here. I get out quickly if it goes wrong. You lose some points, but not many. If it goes right, you make maybe, well, in the case, 40 odd points, thereabout, maybe 30 odd points, but it's a good trade. Right, we'll go back to the other chart. Okay, let's just see how this develops. I mean, in fact, the rest of the action is not, in fact, that critical. But you see, we do go higher. So, at this point here, you'd expect the tunnel price to perhaps be a little bit lower than it was when I said we should take profits. Interestingly, I mean, just there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I'm addicted to Elliott. I can't stop seeing the prices. Anyway, to get back to what's actually happening today, it's an interesting day. In fact, more Elliott. Sorry, but this whole rally actually counts as an ABC. It could in fact be a major sell signal, really significant sell signal. But that's something we can talk about later. So we're continuing with the action of the day. Now it's gone back to parity at this point. Okay, let's have a look at the chart again. So at 2 o'clock we're back at parity. Just be curious to see how the bet. See, we do have a much. It goes down to 20. In fact, I mean that's 20 with some hours left to run. That was a bit of a steal, really. I mean, here was good, but obviously here was better. Now we then start to go up again, and the market goes back to parity just about 2 o'clock. Now, it doesn't get to the same height. Now, there's a very this is an instructive reason. I mean, the market is at parity here, and it's at parity here. Okay, so why is it lower at this point? Quite simply because the market was moving fast, so volatility increased, and volatility is a key factor of binary pricing. You'll see actually, well, we're almost at the close now, or at least we're at the close of this bet, because very shortly afterwards, FTSE in fact broke the bounds of the tunnel and it went to zero. No, sorry, it didn't quite go to zero, did it? We'll go back to the. Okay, right, we'll keep scrolling through, and you'll see that it's actually not quite gone all the way to. I think it actually failed. Now I think about it. The actual prior close was 5692. It just failed by about 3 points to take that out. So interesting bet, in fact, this one. Okay, we've sold it at parity. We've sold about 80 here, bailed out at around I think about 40 here. Could have got about 20 here. Could have got back in again here. At quite a high price, not as high, but not bad. It went all the way down to here. Could have bailed out again. I didn't do this. I'm just saying I'm just giving you an illustration of what you could do. And in fact, at that point, it was very cheap. You could have bought it then, and the bet would have, well, as we'll see from the chart in a minute, would have gone all the way to well, it would have closed at 100. So you bought it at say 20. That would have been a great trade. Just to continue, I mean, it's a great trade anyway. But you've done all those things. Would have been even better. And those things were fairly logical, really, thinking back on it. The problem with some of these moves is they're just so quick. I mean, that is a really quick move. Unless you're actually right on the ball at that time, you're going to miss this trade. Similarly here, we're talking about minutes to actually get that price. The trade here is an easy, relaxed trade. You sell the thing at 80, plenty of time to do it in, then you take your profit up here somewhere, no real hassle. But to get in there or get in there is not so easy. And then the market closes here. So the tunnel in fact did expire at 100. But the point here, the technique here is selling the news. That's what I'm talking about. You wait for the news item. You don't need this chart. I mean, the chart is useful to illustrate what happens. Without the chart, you can't really discuss the market very readily. But for actually trading this, you don't need the chart. Okay, here's the the binary bet again. So this was that very. If I was right the first time, this is that very sharp move that we saw when it almost went down to minus 100. Where you could have gotten a 10 there. But as you see, this is a 5-minute bar, very rapid move. And then we'll just close this off. Close off the day. What happened next? Well, it just drifted up really. The market stopped. It lost its momentum, went sort of sideways, and so eventually the bet closed at 100, as you can see here. So I think a very instructive bet in many ways. The early action was fairly quiet, so the bet slowly increased in price. Interestingly, I think it's strange that the betting company would allow, in a way, such a high price right before a key news item. It's in a way we're looking here for opportunities where the pricing doesn't really reflect the reality, and this is precisely what we're seeing here. We're seeing the pricing is simply not building in what is happening in the marketplace, and that's where we make our money. So we sell it there. Okay, we could buy it here. We could buy it there. I'm going to buy it at close at this point. Okay, then it goes up to 80. It's fast action. The key thing is lots happening. So again, it's very quick though. So getting that would be more difficult. Obviously, getting here is you've got plenty of time. Then you've got the opportunity here to really buy it because it's so cheap. And then it just goes all the way to 100. But as I say, the trade I'm talking about here is the news-based trade. Thank you. I think that covers that technique. I hope you find that useful. Thank you.